2. Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't. Yo, what up, y'all? What up? What's going on? Shout out to all the square pimps and the square pimpettes. Getting busy today. Sorry, we are 8 minutes late. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna get there, Myq. We're gonna get there. 8:30 on the Dizot is where we're trying to get.
8 to us might as well be early.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm actually trying to get Godfrey in earlier too. I've been talking to him. We had a little meeting today. So I appreciate you. Anybody who tunes in, anybody who streams, anybody that takes the time to listen to me, I really, really appreciate that. I understand that some cases you didn't tune in. Some people didn't necessarily tune in to see me. Yeah, that's cool. My skin looks so much more rich now. You leave it off. Yeah, it's fine. I know some of y'all didn't tune in to see me, and I just want to say, man, I appreciate y'all. Listen, I'm hoping that I can bring you some level of value in your lives so that you continue listening and support and subscribe and whatever. This is live consultation. Let's put the number up, Myq. Let's get it. Live consultations 347-464-2827. I had a great week. Did a lot of consultation. I actually did a consultation today from a dude in South Africa, and it really, Myq, it really is interesting how human beings, you realize how open and the same human beings are, even in South Africa. Bitches be crazy. No, I'm even in South Africa. That this whole thing that we call relationships, don't forget to call in 347-464-2827 is the number. Call in. It's just interesting to me how all over the world, I've had guys from Brisbane, from Wales, from Florence, Italy, from, Upper Canada. I've even had a guy from, Myq, one time I had a guy from Mongolia. Called in, wanted problems. Him and his girl had problem. They were bitching because they had a problem hunting timber wolves or something.
I was going to say, I thought Mongolian men just take what they want. What's the problem?
Yeah, well, feminism is all over the place. Like, look, you got to, a Mongolian woman, she wants to be able to kill her own timber wolves if she wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's progress. We're making progress. And I say that in jest because we respect women on all levels, and that's the difference of what we do here and what you see going on with all the either, I find that a lot of times there's a line to, real quick, the number's 347-464-2827. I find that the line is usually either we're woman bashing or we're men bashing, or there's one other category where you get somebody, a guy like, Steve Harvey or like Derek Jackson and these dudes who just basically they just lie to women and tell women what they want to hear instead of giving them the truth. And then there's some people that, it's, shout out to, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, no name above his, who at a lot of times was very brutally honest to a point where I think it was painful for women, and I think a lot of times you get that feed where you're feeding into people's toxicity, and they're calling in basically to get a spanking, So we're trying to have a more balance and have a more. I think the solution. I realize that men and women and we can't live without each other as a species. We won't last without each other, and I think we have to take it into consideration to figure this thing out because. A lot of times in a way in the past, I think that women's feelings were not taken into consideration. And then I think I always talk about this, people talk about the claw, the pendulum swings back and forth. The pendulum goes all the way left where now you got Johnny Depp with some chick shitting on his pillow, and you got a Jada Pinkett situation, and then you have and everything in between that from one. So I think we're really what we're aiming to do here is to find some kind of balance between that. I mean, men and women are distinctly different in the way they approach things. I mean, as well as, it's not that I don't understand that gender and sexuality is a spectrum, but I think we need to figure out how we can work together and how we can work together in a way where we can both be happy. One of the things that I always think about is that we got to learn to compromise. And a lot of times, Myq, if we can, I always like to bring this. Can you bring up the definition for compromise? Please, I'm going to keep banging this into your head so that you understand exactly what I mean. The number is 347-464-2827. Call in, live consultations, yo. Call in, anybody, especially the women. If the women step in the chat and they hit Myq will let the women come up front. So, because I got that kind of chivalry. Compromise. Read that for me, Myq. It's a
compromise is an agreement or a settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions, and a concession is a less than desirable output. Exactly.
So here's the point. The compromise is not you want me to do something and I shut the fuck up. That's not what a compromise is. Nor is a compromise means that both parties don't get what they want. Both parties are less than happy. But if we love each other, if we care about each other, there's a genuine concern about it, if we want to live together, we want to figure this thing out, you gotta make these compromises. But it means that both parties have to make compromises. It's not just do what I want because I want to do it and shut your mouth. Really important. Waiting for the calls to call in, so it's good because I get a chance to talk a little bit. There's an interesting thing. Sometimes I'll get calls from women who will a lot of times talk about how they're having problem in the dating game, and they're I'm this kind of woman and I want this kind of man, but a lot of times I think, and this is the first thing I'd say to men, that you got to be the best version of yourself. If you're not the best version of yourself, how do you sell a product that you don't even believe in? Anybody who's in sales, the first thing is they say is you got to believe in the product that you're selling. If not, you're just lying. So if we got a call, all right, let's go.
Shalom, gentlemen.
What's going on, bro? How you?
I'm well. Well, first of all, I got to say your calmness and your patience. I appreciate that. I still got a lot to learn. But I have a question.
Sure.
So this one happens to me frequently. I'll lay the 5 bricks. I'll give a compliment. Then the girl will give me a compliment back,
mm-hmm.
or she'll start a conversation, be more interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a little conversation. I'll ask for a number. Sometimes she'll say no. Sometimes she'll say yes. And then the ones that say yes, I'll give 2 to 3 days to give a call to ask for the day to go out to go eat.
Okay.
But she doesn't pick up on that call.
Okay.
Did I look like I was being a little too
or
something?
Rewind. Who am I speaking with first?
Nehemiah.
Oh, what up, Nate? What up? Me and Nate. Nee's one of my students, I guess, and we just were talking a little while ago. So thanks for calling, Nee. But here's my thing, Nee. I gotta back up and explain what the 5 bricks is. 5 bricks is is the first step of the plan that I put guys through when they're having a problem getting women, and getting laying the 5 bricks is where I ask a guy to go out and lay and pay 5 women a compliment every day. That compliment has to be truthful and honest. It has to be non-transactional. It's like you're not giving the compliment for the sake of getting the number, at least in the first phase. And then what that does ultimately, it builds your confidence. It's like an exposure therapy where, a lot of guys who approach women have approach anxiety, and you do it with the 5 a day every day. You do it as religious, just like you would be doing your push-ups or your workout. And what it does, it overcomes your your approach anxiety, and then once you get you get past the approach anxiety, you're able to be yourself. One of the principles that I talk about is all the time is that you never should be in a relationship where you're actually you don't want to let emotion have a seat at the table because you can't be your true self and you can't think clearly. Anybody who watches boxing knows that boxers spar and they train so that they can get a punch in the face and still maintain composure. And so when you have any emotion, fear, anxiety, any of those things take you out of who you are. So you don't really get a chance to be the true essence of who you are because there's a fear. So the background is Nehemiah's been doing. How long you been working with me, Nehemiah?
I've been a listener for about 8 months, but I've been working with you one-on-one for 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Okay. Also, it's pretty early. So Nehemiah has been going through the plan, and the point is, here's the problem with Nehemiah. Nehemiah wants this so bad. He wants to be good at it so bad that he's pushing the envelope, and he's doing too much, basically. Because he's already using. One of the things that I tell you not to get the number is because when a woman can perceive the social interaction as transactional, the minute she feels that the pressure, the stakes go up. The stakes go up for you, and the stakes go up for her. Whereas there's a distinct difference when you're just paying a compliment just for the sake of paying a compliment, not with the intention on trying to get a number, trying to have sex with her, or what happens ultimately is when she understands that the social engagement is not transactional, her guard, she puts her guard down and she accepts the compliment in a real way, and you get to have like what I call is real human interaction, which is what you want it to be. When guys do pickup artist stuff or whatever, they do Nihao or the game or any of these guys who listen, do this stuff. What happens is those guys are trying to teach you how to look as if you're natural, as if you're the way that you handle yourself is natural. And what I try to do is get you to the point where you actually are natural. You are to build your confidence to the point where you are natural and comfortable enough that you can be yourself. So the question is, how when you get the number and she calls you, what is the question exactly, Nee?
Well, I'm guessing the question is the times that I've called, or certain girls that I've called and they don't pick up. Am I looking too needy?
Let me say this. The bottom line is, first of all, this is the reason why I tell you not in the first phase not to ask for the number. Because these are questions that you're asking that all kind of are revealed to you with time. Yes, you're going to look needy. Yes, that you're going to sometimes, even though your intention, well, first of all, the social engagement is transactional, right? So the soonest is transactional, she has to wonder, and this is where we talk about ACE, authenticity, credibility, and empathy. The simple fact that there is that now I'm trying to get your number, or I'm trying to go out with you, or I'm trying to get your time, or now it becomes transactional, and now she has to vet you. She has to vet you immediately, because this is something that I say or that guys do not understand, and they no matter how many times I say it then, because it's something that they don't experience, is every time you ask a girl out, you ask her for her number, she has to vet you to see if you might murder her. I mean, it's an unfortunate truth of social interaction, but they're not, everybody around women are not good, and so they have to keep their guard up with that. And if you think about that every time that you're speaking to somebody or you're approaching a woman, I think that we, as men, we would approach them a little bit differently if that was their concern. It's sort of like if you know that a woman has been sexually assaulted, you instantly you approach her with a different, because you have more information. Yeah. So if they can sit in if they want, so they can hear. Can they hear? Okay. So there's that. So first of all, Nehemiah, you're going too fast. You need to get past the first step anyway. But what I would say is, when you're not comfortable. Real game is no game. When you learn these techniques, it is not something that it's not a technique you learn. It's a confidence that comes over you through repetition and through comfort. And when you get to that comfort, you don't have to worry about how you come off. And if you do come off, if you come off needy, you can. It's easy to let somebody know that you ain't needy. So I think that's the problem. You're trying to fix the problem that you're creating by moving too fast, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So all you got to do is you just stay in the first phase, go through the first phase until you're comfortable, and then naturally you will transition to the second phase. So if anybody needs to know, put thanks, Nehemiah. Thanks for calling, bro. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Put that number up, Myq. Phone live consultations on live. We here till 10 o'clock, 347-464-2827. Anybody call, if you're late, any of the ladies, you can call in. You get bumped right up to the front. And if you're in the chat and you just send Myq a message, he's on the chat, and he'll make sure that you get on before the guys, because we have an abundance of guys. But we want to spread out and hear from the ladies too. I think it helps us both to get to this point where we can actually. I mean, we got to fix this thing. I think these things. Like there's so many different variables that we're dealing with, and one of those variables is the respect that we need to have for women, that a lot of times men didn't have before, and so all of those things go into the loop, and the fact that men don't really know where they fit in. 347-464-2827. Call in and we'll talk. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. I'm here for it. Getting back to the 5 bricks and the whole idea of we got a call. Let's go.
Call, you're up. Never mind, they hung up.
Call back. Don't worry, we're gonna work on it so that we can put phones in the phone calls and put people on hold and put them in the bank. But call back. The thing about this is that there's an element. So the principles of what I teach and what I talk about is ACE, which is authenticity, credibility, and empathy. Authenticity, which is truth. Credibility is that you show up when you say you're going to show up, and empathy is to know that when you're dealing with somebody else and the social dynamics of something, that you understand that they may be going through things that you are unaware of, or things that you've never gone through, or things that you don't understand. And when you have that empathy, it changes your approach. I think also you have to lead with this. You can't do what I call, which is shoplift the pussy. Let me explain what shoplifting the pussy is. It's when you go in the store, you ain't got no money, and you're trying to buy something that that you don't have the money for. So a lot of times guys will try to talk to a girl whereas they haven't even figured out who they are and what they are and what their specific value is, and then they're talking to some woman that that in their mind they believe is out of their league, and so then now they gotta lie and they gotta fake it so that ultimately they can get a shot. So basically they're shoplifting the pussy. So if they do get past all the obstacles, they're able to get, if the women get to the point where they're getting laid, they get laid until they're found out that they're a fraud, and then the girl kicks them to the curb, and then we start that on. Live consultations, 347-464-2827. Jump on that line, whatever you want to talk about. I'm here. I know we got on a little bit late, but we're in, and the chat and everything is filling up. So hit us. Any of the women, please send a message, and we'll get you right to the front of the line. Yeah. So what was I talking about, Myq? So I was talking to this dude who was from South Africa, who actually was a model. He's a model from South Africa. So he has good looks, and he's a good-looking dude. But deep down, he lacks the confidence, and he's never really had a problem with women because superficially, he looks good. So women are attractive, and that they get him, but then they would get him, sleep with him, and then dump him after a week or two, because a lot of times he would use alcohol as a crutch to get rid of his approach anxiety. So So he'd get a few drinks in him, and then he would approach and be kind of playful and funny and confident and stuff. And then he was already a good-looking guy. So women were like, wow, this guy's great. And they instantly would want him, desire him. But when the minute that the alcohol wore off, or the next morning when they woke up, he would be in a situation where, like, he's this guy who's none of those things that he was the night before. And what you have to understand is the importance of truth. Truth is truth also, you can also call truth congruency. So if you're presenting as one type of person, but you're really not that person, the incongruency of who you are and who you present yourself is a lie. And instantly women are going to look at a lie. So if you think about it like this, women in general will find a situation where they will, they're always trying to, their first line of defense, if you will, like, is their, or their priority is their safety. So if you're lying, right, there's something I call the Judge Judy effect, right? If anybody watched Judge Judy, I'm kind of old, but I mean, it's still on reruns and stuff. But Judge Judy was a lawyer, and if she would catch you in a lie in the first 5 minutes of any situation, you pretty much lost the case because you've lost the level of credibility. So think of it like that if you're having some kind of social interaction. If you're going to a woman and you're misrepresenting, or you get caught in a lie, or there's a suspicion of lie, this indecisiveness, incongruency all comes under the idea of being a liar. Lying means that you're deceitful. Deceitful means you're trying to hide something. Hiding something means that you're dangerous, and a woman is going to go, I'm out. Because if you're dangerous, she needs to get away from you. There's something I call the proximity rule, which is interesting. It's like when you're in a gym, you ever have that situation where you're in the gym and there's a girl and she always, every time you look up, you catch her eye. You ever see that, Myq? I mean, Myq's a taken man, but he's hot as shit. But
yeah, no, I know what you mean when you're like, shit, and you look down and you look over again 10 minutes later, you're like, fuck, I did it again. Yeah.
What's interesting about that is that you in any situation that you're looking at, when you're looking at that, when a woman finds you creepy, right, you will never see her again. If she's in a party, in a house party, and she finds you creepy, you'll be like, where'd she go? Where she'll be hiding out in the bathroom, on the porch, or whatever. So the same is true, that if a woman is only going to be within the proximity of you, the physical proximity of you, if she feels safe or she's interested. So I'm not saying that she's made her choice. I'm not saying like she's in your vicinity so she wants to blow you. But what I'm saying is at the very least, she feels safe enough to be around you. And her being around you, the proximity of her being around you, and the fact that you keep looking at each other and she's around you, keep bumping into each other, because the other is true. If you're considered somebody creepy or somebody that might be dangerous, you're not going to be able to find her. Even if you want to find her, you ain't going to be able to find her, because she gets that sixth sense. And women are amazing at that intuitiveness of that, because it's literally genetic. I mean, we're literally talking about something that is visceral, instinctual. The number's 347-464-2827. Call in, talk about whatever you want, ask me anything you want. I'm here for you. But that whole idea of the proximity is something that you can work it to your advantage, or at least as an awareness that somebody who's in your space, or if somebody's at your job and all of a sudden they end up by your desk or something, there's a reason why that's happening. I'm not advocating y'all be banging in the broom closet. I'm just saying something to consider. It's just like when you look at body language, or you look at something, all of those, no one of those things, those indicators of interest are a full proof idea of this is what it is, but it's a accumulation of different things that say, okay, this person is into me and this person is not into me, or this person is avoiding me. Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm just coming off a little cold, so I'm a little raspy and trying to get my energy up. But the number's 347-464-2827. Holla at your boy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That's really important. Make comments, whatever. We've been doing this. What is this, the 5th one or the 6th one, Mike?
Fifth by now?
Fifth, I think. Fifth time we go on live. We're going to do this every Tuesday at 8:30. I'm sorry, at 8:30. We were a little late today. Promise you we will be on time next week. And anything you want to talk about, anywhere you're from, I don't care what it is, we'll talk about it. I'll open it up. I'm an open book. I want to let me show my skills, see what it is. You question me, I get, we haven't really gotten any comments where people were like, you don't know what the F you talking about. I have gotten some stuff, about, we got a call. Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your problem?
Hey, I don't got a problem at all. Man, I've been a huge fan of Man School 202 since I've been seeing you on, Godfrey's podcast.
Oh, thank you, bro. Man, I appreciate it. But I'm going to say we all got a problem, but go ahead.
You know what? I'll put it like this. Yeah. All right, so it's not a huge problem.
All right, no disclaimer, just spit it out. All right?
So I had this ex that I dated about 2 years ago, so she was very flighty.
Okay.
Slightest thing would scare her, like you said, about like deers, bunnies, and bears and stuff like that. So she was definitely a bunny. I know that was something that you guys used to use back in the day. But
and I'm gonna tell you, let me back up a little bit. We used to classify women as three different categories: bears, bunnies, and deers. Bears, deers, and bunnies. Bunnies being like timid and shy. Deers being more, a little more upfront, but a little more reserved. And bears was like, "What's your name? You want some ham?" I don't subscribe to that anymore. And this is one of the reasons why I talk about the Black Phillip and the Beige Phillip, what we talked about before. And I don't really subscribe to that because, listen to this, a woman is a direct reflection of the guy she's fucking. So just because she is a way that she is with you absolutely doesn't mean she's the same way with everybody else. And so who you are and how you represent is how they respond to you. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's fair enough. That's definitely fair enough. But so before I started dating her, I listening to your Man School 202, and so I applied a lot of your principles, being definitely authentic, being very honest. She came back a couple months later. Together, had like a little minor disagreement. When I say minor, I'm talking about like super minor. So she broke up then again, came back, and so. After that, it was like, okay, so it's either you're in or you're out.
Right.
I didn't give her an ultimatum. I just told her to make a decision. Later, last year around this time, she calls me, hey, I just wanted to go on and everything else like that. Invited me over for Thanksgiving dinner with her and her kids, who we all got along. Everything was picture perfect.
Okay.
And so, more of the story is, if she comes back around this time,
okay, so you went by on Thanksgiving and then you didn't hear from her again.
Correct.
Okay,
so what I mean. I didn't chase her or anything like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what you got to understand is if people treat you the way that the way you teach them how to treat you. So the fact that she feels as though she can come back and come and go and whatever is because you have basically told her that she can, even if you didn't verbally say it. The fact that you keep letting her come in and out without saying, "Hey, look, this is." First of all, if you leave, you got to leave it. I'm not a plaything that you can't. I mean, there's a level of disrespect in that the ability to just come and go as you please. What all a woman is going to do is lose respect for you. The fact that she has the freedom of coming in and out and going as she please or whatever, that she has nothing at stake from it. The fact is that if you are a genuine and authentic and credible and empathetic dude, you are a commodity. I mean, I say this to dudes all the time. If you take those three principles and you ask yourself, out of all the friends that you had and all the friends that you've known, how many of them can you say those three things about? That they tell the truth, that they're credible, and they're empathetic. You would be hard-pressed to find one friend like that unless you got a group of friends that you are, that is like you, unless you're hanging out with the super friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, we all hang out with dirtbags, and so when we're not dirtbags, we need to understand that that is a commodity, and if you don't treat it like a commodity, she's not going to treat it. This is why you got to put your happiness first. If you don't, she won't. There's really a situation with the fact that you have basically taught her that she can come and go as please, that you'll be there no matter what. So you don't have any value. There's you know, if you understand basic business is supply and demand. If there's an abundance of something, it's
not valuable.
Then it's not valuable. And so you have devalued yourself by allowing this to happen back and forth. At some point in time, you gotta put a line in the sand if you want to be valued. And sometimes when you put that line in the sand, you really, you know, you may not speak to her again. This is something that another principle that I say all the time. I'm dropping gems today. Never make ultimatums, only make ultimate decisions. So
correct.
I would
and
never.
That's what I've been doing.
That's not what you've been doing. That's the thing.
No. I'm talking about like after her.
Okay.
You know
All right. Yeah, but
I do apologize for cutting you off. But
no. But
her,
what I'm saying is the simple fact that you're asking me this says that you're not doing that, right? And the fact that you've done it with her before is that you've already kind of boxed yourself into a situation with a woman that doesn't respect you. And it's not like she's being disrespectful in a blatant or a malicious way, but you said, look, hey, you know, go, come, whatever. I'll be here when I ain't got shit else to do. I got nothing else on my roster. And if you feel like coming back, I'll be here. I'll just be here when you come back. You know, and this is let's be honest. You said you went and hung out with her and her 2 kids. Like, dog, you're already in a situation where you're talking to a woman that has 2 kids. And how old is she?
No, I'm 42. She's 46, and her daughter is 25, and her son is 14.
Okay.
So
all right. Well,
we all had a rapport and everything else. Like
I get that, but there's also a situation where nobody's buying a 2003 Corolla with 2,000 miles on it, and where you're acting like it's a Ben S series. You know what I mean? Like let's be honest. She's not bringing anything to the table per se, other than, you know, herself and some, you know. And the fact that she feels like she can treat you like that is really the problem. That's the problem. But that's your fault because you have taught her how to treat you, if that makes sense.
You're correct. And thank you for answering. Thanks for taking the call. But real quick, I'm going to wrap this up real quick because you got other people. When you and Godfrey came to Philly,
yeah,
I saw y'all guys, and I was like, wow.
Oh, man,
I cannot believe I'm actually seeing these 2, man, because you guys are definitely one of my 2 favorite podcasts. Thank you guys very much. Man. Keep it up. I
appreciate it, bro. Thank you, Beast. Let me see that number too, Mike. Let me call that number out. 347-464-2827. Here's the other thing, and I really appreciate the calls when I get the calls because, you know, I live this shit. You know what I'm saying? I live this level of authenticity, this level of credibility. So if somebody says something and it sounds fishy to me, I gotta let you know that it's fishy, that there's some incongruence with what you're saying, and I don't mean no harm about it, but I love me more than I love anybody else, and so I will not allow somebody to bullshit me know that they're bullshitting me, and me not call it out on the mat to make sure that, you know, because people are listening, and this is, you don't understand, especially on the internet. People listen and they we got one call. Let's go if we're calling in. No, and they're, you know, people listen to you and people become fans, and you don't realize we got one. Let's go.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on? Who am I speaking with?
I'm Dominic.
What's up, Dominic? How can I help you, bro?
I just want to thank you for what you did with Patrice with Black Phillip. You helped me realize a lot of stuff. And the Beige Phillip app, I used to have it, and I'm sad that it's gone.
Well, you know, we're getting ready to do another app, but, you know, we rebranded it and called the show Man School. So you've been listening all the way. So how old are you, real quick?
I'm 27.
Okay, so you got it on the internet. You weren't listening to it in
No.
Okay.
No, I got it about 2017, 2018.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
just made me realize so much things that I was doing wrong in relationships when I was like in high school and stuff.
Now
And I appreciate.
let me say something, Dominic, and I, you know, I get a lot of flack for this, and I don't really cool. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm here for the smoke. One of the things that I tell dudes is that, like, I really respect and appreciate what we did in the Black Phillip Show, what Patrice and I did. I miss that dude every day. Very rarely do you find a mind like his. And I wish he was here with me today that we would be exploring. I often think about how we would be exploring these topics now when things have changed so much. But one of the things is I tell dudes all the time, if you got to listen to Black Phillip, you have to be able to listen to Black Phillip for entertainment purposes.
Yes.
Because it will create an anger from the fact that because I'm not so much me, but Patrice was angry, and we felt as though we were getting, you know, somebody was giving us a fast one, you know, with those, and the reality wasn't that. Later on, I learned that it wasn't like you cannot be mad at fish for swimming, and so for us to think that women are gonna operate in the same way that men do is just ridiculous. There's just so that we have such a difference in the way that we operate. And so Black Phillip was our recognition of that something is wrong, that things are changing and something is wrong. And there was also a certain level of anger. And a lot of guys, I can always tell when a guy has found me through Black Phillip. By they be like this bitch and that bitch, and it's just like kind of volatile, right? Then if they found me through Beige Phillip was when we were trying to come up with ideas and solutions for the problems. And then as I move on to Man School, which is the third iteration of this, it's me just being more sophisticated. Also, I mean, we did Black Phillip in 2006. It's 2022. It was 2023, and if I haven't learned things and grown and matured, then I need to get off the fucking radio and get off this mic altogether. So I appreciate you, Dominic. Any question you have? Any question for me?
Yes. First, I just want to say that I got over that stage. I was very angry when I heard the Black Phillip Show because I started piecing things together. Right. But I realized ultimately, like you said, fish are gonna swim. Yeah. I gotta just understand that. But my questions are like about philosophy, because I remember on the episode you said something along the lines of don't get married until you're 35. I want to know what your thoughts on that. And I also want to ask another one based on you saying somebody asked you, should you cheat on your girl? And you just said, hey, if you cheat, then you don't got to worry about anything she does. It won't trigger you. I want to know, an updated philosophy on those things.
So first thing is this, understand there's a, if you don't know what you want, right? If you don't know what you want, if you don't even know what you're capable of, how do you make a decision about what you want? If you ever gone to like the Chinese buffet, and the first plate that you get is you got a plate, it's piled up to the top. There's a lot of shit on that plate that you're not going to eat, that you try, other stuff that you don't try. The second time you go back to the buffet, you're much more specific about what you put on that plate because you've tasted everything and you go, well, I like this and I like this and I like. The third time you go up because we're talking about an all you can eat buffet, right? The third time is specifically only the things that you like. Right. If you're a guy and you haven't had any relationships and you haven't, I just don't think that you can. I think it's different for everybody, but I think if you don't have experience with women, different types of women, you're stepping up into a situation. So there's two things that I say is difficult that I think is a little more difficult for men that women don't understand. There's two things that you're supposed to be good at is sex and relationships, which is really unfair because how are you good at sex or relationships unless you have practice? No other skill set would.
It's like needing job experience to get a job.
Exactly. Like if you want to play ping pong, you got to play ping pong every day. Just in my case, I play ping pong a lot and often. I actually play ping pong when I shouldn't have been playing ping pong. Sometime with partners that I probably shouldn't have been playing with, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, it gave me a scope of understanding myself just through that journey. Right now. here's the other thing about cheating. I don't call it cheating. It's not cheating. It's you know, and this is a quote from Kevin Samuels. It's accessing options, right? The problem is if you're upfront about what you're gonna do, what you're not gonna do, the type of person you are, what you will do more over than not is women will take you for what you are if you're honest about it. Some will, some won't, most will. Most women would like a guy who's honest about who they are so that they can make decisions, even if they're going, this is who he is and I'm going to change him, but that's on her. I mean, and if a woman calls up, I'll address that from that perspective. But if you're a guy and you want to fuck around and you like, look, I really like you, but I'm young and I'm still kind of I'm not really ready to commit to anybody. And if you don't want to fuck with this, I totally get it. We can bounce. 99% of the time, she's still gonna fuck with you. Especially if you're confident enough to say what it is you want, because in essence, what you're communicating in the sense of that is that I'm worthy of what I'm asking for. I get that you may not want to give it to me, but I'm worthy of it. It's like if you go for a job interview, most people go for a job interview and they go, yes, and they ask you, you have any questions? And people go, no, not at all. Okay, do I get the job? Because they're in a position where they are just trying to get the job, but they're also trying to get any job. When you flip it and you go, yeah, I have some questions. I'd like to know what are the possibilities for moving up in this business? Is there possibilities for education? Then all of a sudden, when you got your job interview answering questions instead of asking questions, it changes the dynamic. What you're basically communicating to them is that you have value and you get to dictate what you want. You're just not going to take what anybody else wants. And so I believe in being honest, and I guess if you're being honest, then it's not cheating. But I think you got to be honest about what it is. I don't think every woman doesn't want to hear about every time you smash either. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
But if you know that this is a situation where this is how you flowing. If you go and you see a baddie and you hook up and you tell her up front, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Now the other side is that she's probably gonna do what she wants to do, or at least it leaves it open for that. And
Right.
and you got to be man enough to that fair is fair, and being righteous and being authentic and being credible and empathetic for the fact that she might have needs, or that she might be dating for marriage or for commitment, and she's allowed to do that just like you're allowed to kind of go with the flow and do whatever comes your way. So there's no problem with it and I find that most guys they're dishonest about what their situation is because they don't think they're worthy of it in the first place. That makes sense, Dom?
Yeah, it does, man. I appreciate that so much.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for calling.
All right, yo, take care.
347-464-2827. What's interesting is that if it's so intricate and interesting to me that just by your answer to that, or the question to that reveals so much about people in general. If I'm going, we got a call. Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air. Caller, you there? You hear us?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing? Who am I speaking with?
Asha.
Hi, Asher. How are you? What's up? How can I help you?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so your 3 points, your authenticity, empathy,
credibility and empathy. Yeah, we call it ACE, so it's easy to remember.
Okay, ACE. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like I've met a guy that has all 3 of those.
Okay.
And another word for truth I like to say is vulnerability. I feel like when you're being vulnerable, you're being honest.
Okay. I mean, I would push back in that. I think that you can be truthful without being vulnerable. I mean, if you're confident about who you are and what you are, it doesn't necessarily make you vulnerable.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, he's vocal. I guess he's transparent. Just a lot of what you were saying made me reminded me of him. And so my question is, he's communicated that, he is a strong masculine man, and he is. I sense all of that in him.
Mm-hmm.
But we are kind of like dating for commitment.
Right.
And I want to make sure like communication is good with me and him, because he gave me options. So I like that you even spoke about options and men being upfront about themselves, and he's super upfront. And so, yeah, he gave me options. He asked me if that's what we wanted, just to like date for commitment, or just date to, just to date.
Wow, that's
And
dope.
so
That's
I
dope.
appreciated that. So now that we're like kind of, dating seriously, just some like, it's been some friction in our communication.
Okay.
And so
What kind of friction?
well, I guess a little, I don't know if it's misunderstanding or gaslighting, honestly.
Okay, fair enough. Well, give me an idea, an example.
Well, I feel like he has trust issues, and that's pretty like typical. I feel like I don't have a problem being questioned or reassuring. I love being reassuring because I need reassurance. So he's, said some off the wall stuff, and I let it roll off my shoulders.
Like what?
That's not what, just okay, because we are long distance.
Okay.
So he's always questioning, like, not always, but he's questioning, like, we're just made assumptions that it is what it isn't.
Okay, so so all of us, you decide that you're dating for commitment. You guys, how far away? How far are y'all away? I mean, where's he at? Where
I'm on the West Coast. He's kind of East Coast, like
how often do you see
DC,
him?
Maryland.
How often do you see him?
Like twice a month. So
All right, so
we've been traveling pretty often.
twice a month, and for how long does he stay when it is twice when you do hook up?
Maybe 4 or 5 days.
And how old are you? You mind me asking?
No,
Go ahead.
28, and he's 42.
Okay. Okay. Let me say this. If you have a guy and he's across, I mean the understanding, and so you're not supposed to be sleeping with anyone. You guys are sleeping together, yes?
No, we're not.
Okay. Well, then he's fucking somebody else.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no way in the world a guy 42 years old that's in Maryland on the East Coast, you got a relationship and you're dating, you're not, and you twice a month. It's just unless he's saying he's asexual and he don't want to fuck you either. Well,
I mean, it's not his. It's my choice. And I get
your
what
choice
you're
that
saying.
you're not.
That could be on the table.
Your choice that you're not fucking, or your choice that you're dating seriously, or what?
Yeah, it's my choice that I'm dating for commitment for.
Right.
seriously,
What
for
I'm
marriage.
yeah, but I'm saying y'all not sleeping together, right?
No.
Then y'all ain't together. Y'all are just
Okay.
talking. What do y'all just make out and like rub and touch and cuddle and shit? What I mean, is this a
Some of all of that.
all right. So here's my thing. If you gotta question, no guy 42 years old. I mean, there may be. I mean, call up the numbers. What's the number? Is put the number up. Call up if you're a 42-year-old guy and you don't want no ass.
Oh my gosh.
That's just not the case. I mean,
Okay, that could be on the table. That's cool.
what do you mean that could be on the
my
table? You mean you have no problem having
Because my
sex?
question is communication. And okay, if that's the reason why he's questioning me, because I feel like people project if they're doing something, they're probably like accusing you of doing it. Right?
Sometimes, and sometimes it's just I'm a selfish motherfucker who's a sociopath. I mean, we can only read.
I've dealt with one of those, and
Right.
that's why
We can only take the information that we can. I mean, I'm not going to make assumptions. What I will make an assumption is somebody. And how long has this been going on?
How long have we been dating, like in totality?
Yeah.
Like 6 months, 5 months, going on.
Yeah,
6
this
months.
is, you can't go 6 months, twice a month and be like, yo, this is my boyfriend. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I mean, are we assuming that, and is he saying that he's not sleeping with nobody else? Is that what he's saying?
I mean, that's what it, I mean.
Oh, so you never had that conversation. I know what that hesitation. You never really asked that, right?
Yeah.
And you never really asked that because you don't really want to know the answer.
Yeah.
So here's my thing: you are not being authentic. You're lying about this. And
Okay, and that's my question because I feel like it's a little passive aggressiveness. Like
absolutely.
I feel like resistance can be passive aggressive sometimes.
What do you mean?
So I get that.
Your resistance or his?
My resistance.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, but you also like this guy. You like what how he is presented so far, and so you're hoping that everything is where you want it to be, but you're afraid to ask. And here's the thing, Asha. I mean, you seem like a very kind girl. You seem like you're even cooperative and all those things. But the reality is, you still get to be who you want to be. You get to have the relationship you want to have, and the only way you're gonna have the relationship that you want to have is you have to ask for it. And
Okay.
if you're not gonna ask for it, he just don't assume he's gonna get it, and and because what's gonna happen is you're gonna shut your mouth, you're gonna stay quiet, you're gonna and then the whole thing is gonna blow up in your face, and then you're gonna be mad at him because you didn't ask. So if you're
But
go ahead.
he's super vocal about what it is, and
What
that's
is
the
he
thing,
vocal
like
about?
like asking. He's asked me multiple times if this is what I want, and I think he doesn't believe me. Like I see the ace about him or in him, and I don't think he understands that I see. So like there's some like doubt. There's some yeah.
I mean,
So
but has he breached the sex question or no?
yeah, yeah.
And what was your response to that?
I just feel like I mean I feel like we're close to that. We've gotten already pretty close to that, but I feel like um I don't know. It's just it don't even have nothing to do with it's just like I don't know, being safe with myself, I guess. Just
Here's the
and
thing. At some point in
mhm.
time, look. You are getting to know. Like so, the way I put it is, human beings have three dimensions. You have a physical side, you have an intellectual side, and you have an emotional side. You have an intimate side, right? All of those things
Mhm.
have to be breached at some point in time to see if you guys whether or not you
Mhm.
fit. And until you breach those situations, right? Because let's be honest, he could be a great guy, right? He'd be a great guy. He could make great cuddles. He could be intellectually stimulating, all of that. And then the sex could be trash.
Okay, but sex can be taught and learned and developed, and
It
so
could, sometimes, but not really. And then when you're a woman who's cheating a guy, you don't respect him.
I don't think it's that. I don't think I would
I'm
have to
not
teach him
saying
at
it
all.
is that. What I'm saying
Uh-huh.
is, you have to breach all three of these levels in order to find out if this dude fits or not. And
Okay.
if you're already 6 months in, twice a month, it just don't. It's y'all are not. This is not dating. I mean, there's no way. How long do y'all speak on the phone? How often?
Um, Pretty often. I mean, when I'm not working. Yeah.
Every day? Every other day, or what?
Yeah. We speak every day, just about every day.
Yeah, I mean, I have whole days, Ash, where I would be on the phone with my man, and when I was being a real hoe, being a real dirtbag, I had 4 girls on the roster, and while I was with my man, I would make phone calls. Hey, babe, what's up? Hey, babe, what's up? Hey, babe. I mean, that's what I did when I was younger, and so
Okay.
I just think that, women, women fake orgasms, men fake relationships.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll come back to my question. Maybe it's something I need to go back and, like you said,
I
I
think
need
you need
to.
to ask him what the deal is.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you part of this has to do with the fact that y'all haven't slept together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's the only thing, but the fact that if I'm across, I'm on you East Coast, West Coast, we're seeing each other twice a day. If we're not sleeping together, this at 6 months later, and I'm telling you, me honestly, I'm not gonna wait a weekend. I'm playing. I mean, sometimes I will, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
This is an element. I mean, we can't. Part of.
I mean, yeah, I get what you. I mean, there's like I said, yeah.
And I
I
think
got
it's
you.
unfair. I think it's also unfair for you not to say what you want and say how you feel. And even if you have a problem with there's a rub, if there's a rub with this communication, I think you have the right to ask that. Especially if he's saying we in a relationship and what you doing and where you at, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hold the fuck up. Like, here's what I'm feeling. You know, that's as important as everything else. But I think you like this guy, and because you like this guy, you're hoping it works out. And I think, to me, it sounds like there's some other stuff going on underneath it, and you don't want to ask because you don't want to be disappointed of how it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of true?
Yeah, I can attest to that somewhat, yes.
If you don't know something, the easiest way to do it is ask. And even if you don't get the answer, even if the answer is not open and honest, sometimes it's what people don't say that you can read, okay?
Okay.
So when you ask that question, let it be very direct and figure out what it is you want to know. And then if he avoids, you know, because we understand the question that we're being asked, but if we're avoiding and we're deflecting, it's usually because we're lying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. All right? And hit me back. I'll be here next Tuesday. If you talk to him, call me back next week and we'll thrash it out, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Thank you so much for calling. You're the best. Bye-bye. Yeah, you know, like I said, women fake orgasms, men fake relationships, you know, and
Yeah, like how you said you would have a Rolodex of girls and you call one. I have 100 friends that do the same shit that have like 3 or 4 girls just on like, hey, I'll see you next weekend. I'll see you. Yeah, that's just something dudes. I mean, at that age, maybe not so much, but like when I was in my 20s, a lot of my friends were doing this.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if you a dude who had a late start, right, and now you killing it because
horny's horny no matter what.
Yeah, man, I know, dude. Like, I'm only where I am because of the fact that I did so much dirt, and I was trying to figure out how to, you know, like I don't profess to be the prodigal son. I have made so many mistakes, and things have ended me up in a crappy place, and me leading somebody on or telling somebody what they want to hear so that they can find out later. And then because here's the thing, if I go, I had a situation where, and this wasn't even long distance. I mean, if you call long distance Queens, it's long distance. But me and this girl was dating, and we hung out maybe like, oh, it's funny here, twice a month for 10 months, right? And every time we went to, you know, first grade movie, first run, always nice dinner, back to my place, a nice smasherini, a lot of debauchery, right? Sex was great, was cool hanging out. We talked off and on, boom, 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 boom. And then after 10 months, she went through my Facebook page, and she went through every chick that follows me, right? And then went through their page to see if and there might have been 6 or 7 girls that had pictures of me and stuff that I was presently. One was like a Christmas dinner. I was another one. I was, you know, I was getting it in. And she called me, how could you do this? And I said, well, first of all, we never had a conversation about whether or not this was a relationship. I said, honestly, I do really like you. She had the booty was crazy, Mike. Oh, it was just jumping out of the pants. Just couldn't stay in the pants. And I was like, I really like you. And I get that you're in a different place than I am, that you like me in a way that you want a relationship. I'm not on that same page. I said, I have no objection, it's not that I don't think we can get there, but I'm not 10 dates. I mean, I guess 20 dates in 10 months does not make a relationship.
Well, you had the guy who, I think it was the dude with the girl he met at the gym or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've known her forever. And then you were like, oh, well, how many like dates? He goes, oh, none yet. But like, and he was like speaking as if it was a relationship.
As if it was a relationship, and it was no relationship.
And I think the same as this, the reason he didn't want to ask is because he knew if he did ask, he'd get the answer.
Get the answer that he don't want. And that's what we have. But if you don't think you're worthy of the thing you're asking for, then you don't ask. And you hope, you sit around and hope. But, man, I'm 57, dog. I've seen more sunsets than I'm going to see. I'm not wasting time trying to find out if you don't like me. But I'm not diminished because I'm not somebody's type. Because there's always somebody that's not my type. And there's always somebody that's not my type. And they're not. But you can't find that out. And, yeah, we got a call. Let's go. I love when we get a girl calling.
Caller, you're on the air.
Mr. Nero, how you doing?
What's going on? Who am I speaking with?
This is Brandon from North Carolina.
What's going on, Brandon? How can I help you, bro?
Well, I wanted to first give you your flowers, man. I wanted to thank you, and I don't think you understand how much, even back from the O&A days to Black Phillip, how you touched people like myself and people around me.
Man,
with the
thank
insight,
you, bro.
Man.
Thank you.
Yes,
But I'm
sir.
I'm
Yes,
gonna be
sir.
honest. The rest of the audience don't give a fuck about that. they
Oh
want to
my
hit.
God,
They want to
it's so
get.
many jewels.
I appreciate it. Well, how can I help you though, Brandon? Talk to me.
Well, I would like to know, how do you sharpen your steel?
Oh, I practice everything that I preach. I don't
Okay.
lay the 5 bricks like I don't do it religiously every day, but I am social. I talk to women, I talk to strangers, I pay compliments. I've always wanted to be a guy who is confident enough to see beauty and be able to call it out with no non-transactionally. I think that is very
Right.
attractive to women, the fact that you can say, wow, you're a beautiful woman, and then move on. Like, I'm not.
No contingencies.
There's no. It's not transactional because
Right.
it affects women. It hits different. It hits different because
Right.
it's so often that they're, guys is trying, I'm gonna holla, and then there's always a transactional thing where it's like, I'm trying to get your number, I'm trying to get in your pants, I'm trying to get, you'll call me, you'll let me take my Instagram, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just nice to have social interaction. I mean, that's how you get ready for the interaction that you want to have.
That's facts plus facts. You had said that years ago about how even if you're not going for the kill, even this practice is helping you.
Oh yeah, you gotta
seal the deal.
If you wanna, I used to say you gotta be ready for the Super Bowl. I'm not a big football fan, but I'm a Giants fan, and I remember when Giants won the World Series, and dude caught that ball on his helmet with one hand
Right.
against his helmet. You got to do that 1,000 times in practice in order to be able to do that in the game. And so if you want to learn how to hunt, you got to keep your tools sharp. And I mean that even when you're married and you're in a relationship, what you need to do is the thing. So there's something I used to say years ago, I don't say it a lot now, is women fall in love with you for everything that you are. They spend the rest of the relationship changing you into everything that you're not. If they succeed, they will dump you for the guy who you were when they met you. What that means is,
and there's never a break.
Yeah, well, there's no vacation days in manhood, dude. If you asking, well,
Right.
me and Patrice used to argue, but when do you just get to love him? That's like asking, when do you get to take a nap while you're driving across country? You don't. Manhood is a 24-hour, 365 thing. But when you present yourself in that way and you follow Ace, you find women that understand that you can be weary of doing this, and they do the things that give you the gas and to keep moving forward, to keep providing and keeping them safe and keeping sharp, because they give you. I mean, Doug, I said this the other day. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had the lady. She was like, suck a dude's dick and make him a turkey sandwich. Nigga, you have no idea.
I've never seen the comment section more like, there we go.
That's it. Suck my dick and make me a turkey
Paradise.
sandwich, and then put mayo on both sides of the bread. Dog, come on. What else? I mean, we're simple.
It's not even a make me a sandwich thing. It's just it's very simple.
It's just like, oh, I made you some sweet tea from scratch, bitch.
You replace sandwich with almost anything sweet, and it's fun. Like, we're simple
Like,
people.
bitch, do you want to get married? Are you trying to get married? So I mean, anybody who takes consultations, DanteNero.com, click on consult. You can consult with me. I mean, don't forget to follow the Patreon. The Patreon is Man School 202. www.patreon.com/manschool202. I converse with those guys. That's the inner family that keeps us going to do this. But I practice this every day. That's why when
One last quick question before I get out your hair.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is my church, by the way. This is my church.
I appreciate it.
You've been around all this talent for so many years. Why ain't you never tried the comic role?
What do you mean, the comic? What do you mean?
I mean, you've been around all these legendary comics. You ain't never tried stand up?
Dog, do you not know that I've been doing stand-up for 22 years?
Dante's a killer.
No, sir. No, sir.
Dog, Myq, will you tell him?
I mean, the last caller just called and said, I saw you and Godfrey in Philly. It was wild.
Dog, Godfrey is probably the greatest comic I've ever seen in my life, bar none. Just so many. But dog, you can't be around Godfrey and not be a killer, dog.
He wouldn't let you.
Yeah, he wouldn't even. But yo, I'm straight murderous row. Ask about me, dog. If anybody in the comments has seen me do stand up, put it in the comments. This is murderous row. The problem is a lot of times there's no meritocracy in this game. You know, you and when you cannot, when you are, and I mean, I hate to I'm gonna keep it racial, but I'm gonna keep it brief. There's nothing worse than this society hates more than a black man who is unapologetically intelligent and credible. Here's what I say this all the time. My honesty sharpens your truth. What you have to understand is the more truthful I am, the more honest you have to be. You either got to get away from me because you know that my honesty is gonna pull the wool off you, right? Or you got to be as honest with me as I am with you. And the industry is a bunch of dirtbags. And so they know that the game is screwing you over. And if they can't I'm older now, but as a younger dude, like if you stiff me on my money, anybody. It's funny, I got my boys here. My boys is watching the back, Tony and Reggie. They my old stripper dudes. They know if you stiff me on money, I'm going in your mouth. I'm gonna give you a personal. So if you're a dude who knows he's shady, I'm just not the dude. There's no doubt in my. If anybody that knows me knows, if you stiff me or you jerk me on the side, I'm going in your mouth. That's gonna happen.
That's protocol.
Yeah,
that's protocol.
So if you know that and you know you shady, you rather go with a shady dude who might fuck around or might give you. You might be able to. I'm gonna go right to you. Yo, what's up? You know, and so. I mean, but the great thing about this is why it's important to like and share, follow us on YouTube, because the game has changed, dog. You make a decision. The people who are listening to me, and I appreciate y'all listening to me and giving me the energy that you'll do, because you guys, the mid ground of the go between of the sly, slick motherfuckers that are making money off of people, they don't have jobs no more because the consumer can decide what is legitimately right now. It's insane, and I mean I hate to shout him up, but because Steve Harvey's my frat brother, but the trash he be talking about is insane to me. The fact of what he's telling women across the board, which is just absurd. But
well, given the mentality of the masses nowadays, it's not that hard.
Well, if you tell women and men what they want to hear, they'll fuck with you. They'll fuck with you. When you look at like Fresh and Fit, or even when you look at Kevin Samuels, a lot of dudes. Like Kevin Samuels didn't give no answers. He just screamed on people for being inadequate. And you gotta understand that is what the internet wants. And I don't sell that, dog. I need to have some level of credibility, some kind of usefulness in what I do. And because of that, you relegate yourself to the slow grind of growing guys like you and guys like Ash and Dominic, people who follow me and fuck with me, and it's real. And then I just hope that they tell a friend that, yo, this is. I mean, I hate to go back to the street time, but this is that uncut cocaine that nobody stepped on, and you could deny it if you want to, but dog, you're gonna get that nose freeze. So it is what it is. But I appreciate you, dog. I mean, but check me out, man. I'm gonna be touring next year. I'm gonna be touring with Godfrey heavy next year because I'm really getting out.
Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'm running late. I'm on the East Coast too. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of stuff online on my YouTube channel, which is Dante Nero is my YouTube channel. I got a bunch of stuff on there. You can see me rock. All right?
Okay, next time.
All right, cool. Later. That's crazy, Myq. He's like, you should try comedy.
Yeah, when you're done, give relationship advice.
347-464-2827. Call up, talk to me, whatever you want to ask. I'm here for you. Whatever you want to ask. Ladies, get bumped to the front. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Call or you're on the air. Oh, never mind.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Somebody answer.
Yep.
Yellow?
Greetings.
What's going on? Who am I speaking with?
Speaking of Simon, man.
What up, Simon? What's going on?
How you doing?
Us. What's going on? Talk to me, baby.
Man, coming out of that life, now, what's your suggestion? Coming out of that life of clubbing all our life, and especially out to New York, Queens, I'm just tired of the night scene, man. You want to be in a relationship, but I don't feel like going out there and chasing again. I went through all of that. Running Temptations, running SOBs. I ran different.
Simon,
clubs.
here's what I would say to that. I had a chick that I dated for 10 years I met in Home Depot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just a smoker that I met in in the plumbing department. I don't think that you have to go out to meet people. There are people everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's women everywhere. I mean, all you gotta do is be out New York in the streets, and it's crazy out here. So
yeah.
But I think you have to be able to cold approach. Like it's everything is on apps and stuff and whatever. Which I don't knock that either. But I just think that even when you're messing with the apps, the objective is to get a face-to-face visit.
Right.
I
live in Georgia now, man. I live in Georgia.
We had a dude who called up and he was talking about he had 3 girls and da-da-da-da. And it was 3 girls who was fictitious girls that he was just talking to on Facebook. I don't know what to do about this one and this one. I'm like, dog, well, where? Oh, they don't. So, dog, I mean, Simon, you've been around a long time. You in Georgia, you can pick somebody up by a peach tree, dog. So anyway, I holler at you,
don't
baby.
know what to trust out there.
Yeah. Well, you know what to trust.
Look what I do. I import now, man. I'll say, look.
You can do that too. Shout out to the passport bros. But whatever. Thanks, Simon. Thank you, man. Thanks for calling, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace. 347, what is it? Why can't I remember the number? 347-464-2827. Call in, talk to me about anything. Ladies, get up front. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, Manschool 202, or my channel, DanteNero.com. Also the Patreon. We got a call. Let's go. Patreon is patreon.com/Manschool202. Who am I talking to?
Hi, my name is Fabian. Been a big fan of your show from the Beige Phillip and Black Phillip time.
Thank you, Fabian. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm kind of just asking just to pick your brain on just relationship stuff overall.
Yeah.
Got a lady, known her for about 10 years. We've been kicking it on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Reconnected some time ago and been pretty strong for a bit. Connected with her family and stuff, got some good brownie points overall, decent boyfriend and stuff like that.
Right.
My main struggle that I've ran into, and I feel like this is a lot of my relationships, is a lot of times when I have issues, when I'm dealing with personally, I'm not one to really vent.
What do you mean?
When I'm running into hiccups, just general in life or whatever, if I have something. I deal with a lot of politics and stuff like that, and I do a lot of community affairs work. So it's always a bunch of casework and stuff that's stressful, whatever the case may be. And so when I have those kind of frustrations or I need time to recollect,
right,
it's sometimes hard for my lady to understand that.
Here's a question: Are you talking? You're not taking it out on her, are you?
No. I tell her up front, hey, I'm having a difficult moment. It doesn't help me to really vent. I just need some time to myself. And I'll get attitude because she'll feel
she's not included. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
let me. There's a book that I read years ago. It's How to Get Anybody to Do Anything. It's a behavioral psychology book. It's by Lieberman. I believe it's Dave Lieberman. One of the principles, this is something I read. I read this book, or I must have read this book at least 15 times. One of the things that I learned from the book is that what you do, people are attracted to you. They get attached to you not by what you do for them, but what they do for you. Okay, let me explain that. What happens is, especially when you're in union with somebody, right? you want them, they in order, you're in union with them, and so you have to share your life with them, right?
Right.
If you keep your life separate, then she can. You're not you. If you give her in, if you let her in your life, then you give her purpose in the context of your life. Now, when I say that, I think people get a little cringeworthy because what they're thinking is, hey, a man gives me purpose. No, you know, people in relationships give each other purpose, and if I don't include you in my life, then my life exists as separate entities, and if it exists as separate entities, it will also end. I was married. The first time I was married, I got married. It was kind of very nice. We were great friends. The problem was when I started doing comedy. When I first started doing comedy, I was very insecure about my jokes, and I used to go, "Yo, what do you think this is funny?" And she used to go out with me, and then all of a sudden, she got tired of going out. She got tired of, and I was just funnier than her, so I stopped. You know, I've been doing it a couple of years, and asking her was just ridiculous. It would be like asking a plumber how to do carpentry. You know what I mean? It was just like,
Right.
But what I did was she started going to school, and she got into education, and she got a bachelor's, and she got a master's degree, and she was teaching, and then she wanted to do salsa. And so what happens is you get this thing where your two lives are so separate. And I believe that because our lives were so separate, that's why we kind of grew apart. You have to, part of being in a relationship is that you allow that significant other a part of your life, that you have to give even if it's something that like, because I'm a very independent person, I don't need nobody, but I give tasks away to somebody that I'm dating so that they can feel connected to what I'm doing. Even if I have to come up with something, make up something for, hey, could you do this for me? Because think about that when you have a great relationship and your girl says, listen, babe, could you, I'm such a girl, could you change my oil? There's a feeling there's a feeling of accomplishment. Even if you talk, you women can't do it, or I'm going to do it. There's a sense of accomplishment that you have, that there's a connection. And when you have your separate, when you're so independent that you are setting yourself up for the relationship to fall apart, because you will grow apart, because you'll both have separate entities. I'm not saying you shouldn't have separate things that you do, on your own, but I'm saying you have to include her, even if it's difficult to do. So, I mean, even if you've already worked it out, you go, hey, babe, you mind if I talk to you for a minute? And she'll be like, oh, sure. What do you want to tell me? And you just vent a little bit. You know, you could keep whatever you want. And to be honest, you might even be surprised that she might have some perspective on this that maybe you didn't have in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That from a different perspective. Yeah. But you have to. And I mean, in any marriage relationship, your woman has to be intricately part of your life. Now, when I'm talking about Tyrese, where you crying on the internet and shit like that.
No, I get you. I've been getting better at that, where like I've included her into like the work relationships and the stuff that I've done.
And what's her response? What's her response when she does that?
She's usually up for it. Like I usually try to make sure like her like schedule's open, and she's really happy to like see different parts of my life, of the stuff I talk about, like
absolutely
the advocacy stuff that I do, the people that like represent that, and like, hey, here's my people, and then I show my people this is my person kind of thing, and she's very up to that. I've gotten better with that. It's more of like when I run into like a wall and I'm like, oh, shit, like I got this issue I got to deal with, and it's just, it doesn't make sense in my mind. It never makes sense to like really
but it's not about making sense. It's about you making somebody part of your life. And if you want to continue that, I mean, I say this all the time. People compromise means that both parties aren't happy. That means that both parties give something up. And part of being in a relationship is the fact that she needs to feel part of what you do. If she doesn't feel part of what you do, she won't feel part of you. Then you're just two people that's fucking, and then after a while you won't even be fucking no more. You'll go your separate ways, and it'll fall apart. That's how I ended up getting divorced. I mean, I didn't even figure this out, and I ended up, my first marriage went down the tubes because of it.
Yeah.
And I'm really candid and open about all the mistakes that I made, but I know that's a mistake because I made the mistake, and it ended up being a problem because I did. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. I get it. It's hard because sometimes you're like, let me just handle this shit. But if that's what you got to do, then take something that's lesser complicated, and when you're not having a problem, make a problem that you could share with her, you know?
Yeah, I think I'll take your advice on just like, I guess like finding a way to, I guess, vent about it or just share with her. So it's just like, hey, here's what's going on in my mind.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I promise it's not you. I'm just dealing with some shit at the moment. Nothing big, just gotta handle it. So.
And also, if you make a situation, hey, what do you think about this? It just it brings you closer because like I have. Two of my best friends is in the studio today. Shout out to my boy Tony and Reggie. The reason why we're tight is because we know where the bodies are hid. That's how the closeness comes in the fact that I got some shit that could destroy you, and you got some shit that could destroy me. That's what creates the friendship,
right.
And the fact that we hold those things sacred, maintain that loyalty, and keep our own secrets. Same thing is with women. They gotta be part of you. You feel me?
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely appreciate that. That helps big time.
Yeah.
And I think she likes when she feels like she can give me insight. Cause
oh, of course.
I try not to act like I'm a wise man. I try to act like we're just two peas in a pod. Just try to be a partner.
Yeah, but a woman only dates a guy who's better than her anyway. So you know what I mean? Like a woman, when a woman sees you, it's like, I hear this all the time when women go, it's 50-50. If a woman thinks she's your equal, pack your bags, you on your way out. So that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thank you, man. Thanks for calling, bro. We got time for one more, Mike? Or
Godfrey's like a couple blocks away.
Okay.
So
all right.
I think we can wrap up here. We have like a final thought.
Well, I got a final thought, man. First of all, don't forget to follow, subscribe, leave comments. Man, we'll be doing this every Tuesday. Just keep in mind something I want to say to the mind is that the principles is authenticity, credibility, and empathy. If you practice those three principles, you cannot be a better human being. There's only two things that you will always have to do for the rest of your life is give forgiveness and ask for forgiveness. And in that, we understand the empathy and the frailty of human beings and the fact that we all make mistakes. And that doesn't mean that we take shit from people. It doesn't mean that if somebody's constitution is toxic or dishonest that we put up with that, but understand that we all make mistakes, we all trip, and we got to give each other grace so that we can forgive and kind of patch and be better and make each other better. Love y'all, man. Keep following. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace. We out of here.
You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation.